Many gardeners think the secret to big harvests is more fertilizer, but, this is not always true. We must look deeper, into the soil itself. Here we find mycorrhizal fungi. These are not a food for your plants in the way compost is. They are living partners. These fungi form a relationship with plant roots. They create a vast network of fine threads, called hyphae. This network extends much further than the plant's own roots can reach. Think of it as a huge extension, a secondary root system that works for your plants. It's a natural ancient partnership that has existed for millions of years. The fungus and the plant have a simple trade. Plants use sunlight to make sugars through photosynthesis. They send some of these sugars down to their roots. The mycorrhizal fungi receive these sugars as food. In return, the fungi explore the soil. Their tiny threads can access water and nutrients in spaces that are too small for roots. They are especially good at finding phosphorus and zinc. They absorb these essential nutrients and deliver them directly to the plant. This exchange helps plants to grow stronger and healthier, even in soil that is not perfect. It's a beautiful example of cooperation in nature. This fungal network does more than just feed your plants. It also helps them to resist stress. A plant connected to a healthy mycorrhizal network can find water more easily during dry spells. The fungi act like a sponge, holding moisture in the soil close to the roots. This makes your plants more resilient to drought. The network also improves the plant's ability to fight off diseases. By ensuring the plant is well fed and hydrated, it has more energy to defend itself against pests and pathogens. You will see less disease and healthier growth without needing to use chemical sprays. So, when you add mycorrhizal fungi, you are not adding fertilizer. You are adding a workforce. You are introducing a living ally that will work with your plants. This is a key principle of no-dig gardening. We aim to build a healthy soil ecosystem. The fungi are a vital part of that system. They connect everything together. A soil rich in these fungi is alive and full of potential. It supports strong plants that produce abundant, nutrient-dense harvests. Understanding this relationship is the first step towards unlocking your garden's true potential and achieving consistent, impressive results year after year. How do you know if your soil needs help? There are clues to look for. If your garden has been dug or tilled for many years, the fungal networks are likely broken. Tilling is like an earthquake for soil life. It shatters the delicate hyphae. Another sign is a history of using high levels of chemical fertilizers, especially those high in phosphorus. These can make plants lazy, telling them they do not need a fungal partner. Fungicides are also very damaging, as they kill beneficial fungi, along with the harmful ones. If your soil is heavily compacted or has been left bare and exposed to harsh weather, the fungi will struggle to survive. You might also see the results in your plants. Are your crops, particularly ones like tomatoes or sweet corn, often stunted? Do they seem to struggle, even when you feed and water them well? This can indicate a poor root system that is unable to access what it needs. If your plants are very susceptible to drought, wilting quickly on a warm day, it suggests they lack the extended reach that fungi provide for water uptake. Poor fruiting or a lack of flavor in your harvest can also be a sign. When plants have to work too hard just to survive, they have little energy left for producing high-quality vegetables. The good news is that you can reintroduce these vital organisms. The solution is to add a mycorrhizal inoculant. This is a product containing spores of the beneficial fungi. You can buy it as a powder or as granules. It is a concentrated dose of the life your soil is missing. When you introduce these spores, you are giving your plants the chance to form that powerful partnership from the very beginning. This is especially important in new gardens, raised beds filled with new compost, or in any area where the soil life has been disturbed or depleted over time. Choosing the right inoculant is straightforward. Most products you find at a garden center contain a blend of endomycorrhizal fungi. This is the type that forms a partnership with about 85% of all land plants, including nearly all vegetables, fruits, and flowers. You don't need to worry too much about specific species. A general-purpose inoculant will work for most of your garden. It is a simple one-time investment at planting that repays you with healthier soil and better harvests for years to come. It is a direct way to repair the damage and bring your soil back to life. Applying mycorrhizal fungi is simple and best done at planting. This ensures the spores are in direct contact with the young growing roots. The goal is to get the fungi and roots to meet as early as possible. For transplanting small seedlings, like a lettuce or a tomato plant, the method is very direct. First, dig your planting hole as you normally would. Before you place the plant in the hole, sprinkle the inoculant powder directly where the root ball will sit. You do not need very much. A small pinch, perhaps half a teaspoon, around 2 to 3 grams, is plenty for a small plant. Once you have sprinkled the powder in the hole, place the plant's root ball directly on top of it. The contact is crucial. The spores need to touch the roots to germinate and begin forming their connection. After placing the plant, simply fill the hole with compost or soil, firm it in gently, and water as usual. The moisture will activate the spores. Within a few days to a week, the fungi will start to grow and penetrate the plant's roots, beginning the symbiotic relationship. This simple action at planting time sets your crop up for a season of success by giving it a hidden advantage from day one. For sowing seeds directly in the ground, the process is slightly different, but just as easy. First, make your seed drill or furrow to the correct depth for your chosen seeds. Then, take the mycorrhizal powder and lightly dust it along the length of the drill. You want a fine, even coating. A good rule of thumb is to use about 1 teaspoon, around 5 grams, for every meter of row. Then, sow your seeds directly on top of the powder. The germinating seed will send its first root down, and it will immediately encounter the fungal spores, allowing for a very early connection. After sowing the seeds over the powder, cover them with soil or compost to the recommended depth. Water the row gently. This method works brilliantly for crops like carrots, parsnips, and beans. For larger seeds like peas or sweet corn, you can even roll the damp seeds in the powder before planting them to ensure excellent coverage. The key is always the same direct physical contact between the spore and the root or seed. This small step takes only a few extra seconds per plant, but makes a world of difference to the health and productivity of your garden. Once you have inoculated your soil with mycorrhizal fungi, you need to adjust your gardening habits slightly. The most important change is with fertilizer. You must reduce or even stop using high phosphorus chemical feeds. The plant and fungi partnership is based on a trade. If you provide the plant with lots of easily available phosphorus, it no longer needs the fungus. The plant will stop feeding the fungus with sugars, and the symbiotic relationship will break down. You will have wasted your time and money applying the inoculant. It is a simple case of supply and demand. Instead of synthetic feeds, rely on organic matter. A top dressing of good compost each year is all your soil needs. Compost releases nutrients slowly and feeds the soil life, including the mycorrhizal fungi. This creates a healthy, self-sustaining system. If you feel your plants need a boost, use a natural, low-phosphorus feed, like liquid seaweed. This provides trace elements without disrupting the fungal network. For most vegetables in a no-dig garden with an annual compost mulch, you will find that no extra feeding is necessary once the fungi are established. The network will find what your plants need. Your watering routine can also change. A plant connected to a healthy fungal web is far more resilient to drought. The fine hyphae act like a sponge, finding and holding on to moisture in the soil. This means you will not need to water as often. Keep an eye on your plants, but do not rush to get the hosepipe. Let the soil dry out a little on the surface between waterings. This encourages the plant roots and the fungi to search deeper for moisture, creating a more robust and extensive network. You save water, time, and effort. In my experience, plants in a mycorrhizal-rich soil are visibly less stressed on hot, sunny days. While other plants may wilt, these remain turgid and healthy. For example, my courgettes, which are notoriously thirsty, require far less irrigation. I can go for longer periods between waterings, even during a dry spell in July. This resilience is one of the greatest benefits. It means your garden is less dependent on you. It can look after itself better, which is the ultimate goal of a good gardener, to create a thriving, low-maintenance ecosystem. Most garden vegetables benefit hugely from mycorrhizal fungi. The partnership is most noticeable in large fruiting plants. Tomatoes, peppers, aubergines, squashes, pumpkins, and sweet corn show a remarkable improvement. They produce stronger plants and significantly larger harvests. Legumes like peas and beans also form strong relationships, as do root vegetables such as carrots and parsnips. Onions and leeks, which have very simple root systems, rely heavily on their fungal partners to gather nutrients. You will find that nearly everything you grow in your allotment or vegetable patch will respond positively. However, there is one important group of vegetables that does not form this partnership. The brassica family, which includes cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, kale, and Brussels sprouts, does not associate with mycorrhizal fungi. Their roots produce chemicals that repel the fungi. This is a natural defense mechanism. Similarly, crops like beetroot and spinach from the Amaranthaceae family form very weak or no connections. Do not waste your inoculant on these plants. It is better to save it for the crops that will truly benefit, ensuring you get the most value from your purchase. The best part is that you do not need to buy inoculant every year. Once you have established a healthy population in your soil, you can help it multiply naturally. The key is to stop digging. The no-dig method preserves the delicate fungal webs that you have worked to create. Each time you dig or till the soil, you are destroying this precious network. By simply adding a layer of compost to the surface each year, you feed the soil and protect the life within it. The fungi will remain dormant in the soil over winter and re-establish connections with new plants in the spring. Another way to help the fungi spread is to always keep the soil covered with plants. Fungi need living roots to survive. At the end of a season, instead of pulling a tomato plant out by the roots, cut it off at the soil level. The roots, and the attached fungal network, will remain in the soil to decompose, feeding the soil life. Planting a green manure or cover crop over winter also provides living roots that keep the fungi fed. This way, your garden soil becomes a living reservoir of beneficial fungi, ready to support next year's crops without you needing to add more powder. The benefits of mycorrhizal fungi go far beyond simply feeding your plants. Over time, they physically rebuild your soil. The fungal hyphae weave through soil particles, binding them together into stable aggregates. This process dramatically improves soil structure. It turns dense clay, or loose sand, into a beautiful, crumbly loam. This structure is full of air pockets, which are essential for root health and for the billions of other microorganisms that make up a healthy soil food web. Good structure also means better drainage, so your soil is less likely to become waterlogged after heavy rain. This improved structure has a direct impact on your gardening. A well-aggregated soil is easier to work with. When you need to transplant seedlings, your trowel will sink into the soil with ease. Weeds are also easier to pull from this crumbly medium. More importantly, the soil becomes a better reservoir for both water and air. During a downpour, the water can penetrate deep into the soil instead of running off the surface. During a drought, the soil holds onto that moisture for longer. This creates a stable and forgiving environment for your plants to grow in, buffering them against weather extremes. In 2023, I ran a trial with my sweet corn. I planted 2 identical beds. In one, I used a mycorrhizal inoculant, dusting it into the planting holes. The other bed was my control, with no inoculant. Both beds received the same compost mulch and the same amount of water. By August, the difference was clear. The inoculated plants were visibly taller and greener. The final harvest was the real proof. The cobs from the mycorrhizal bed were, on average, 25% larger and the kernels were sweeter. The total yield by weight from that bed was nearly a third higher. This is the power of a living soil. Ultimately, using mycorrhizal fungi is a shortcut to becoming a better gardener. It is not cheating, it is working with nature. It helps you build a resilient, self-sustaining garden that produces incredible harvests with less work. You spend less time watering, less time feeding, and less time worrying about pests and diseases. Instead, you are fostering a complex underground ecosystem that does much of the work for you. This is the essence of no dig. It is about trusting the natural process and creating the conditions for life to thrive. Give it a try and see the difference it makes. I look forward to hearing about your results.